Hello everyone. So this video is for anyone who is curious about the whole new GLP-1 weight loss drugs, for anyone who's curious how it works, if it works, for anyone who is considering to try any of these GLPs. So I just got done taking Zepbound. I was on it for the entire duration of its course, meaning I started at the 2.5 milliliter or milligram all the way up until the 15 mark. So every 4 weeks you're supposed to go up 2.5 milligram or milliliter, I can't remember which metric it is, until you hit 15. So that's about 6 months. Yeah, it's every 4 weeks, so 6 months total for the whole duration. And I am now on the highest dosage. I just finished and it worked. I am down to a very healthy and very happy weight. I lost over 20% of my overall body weight, which is what Zepbound has been said it's able to do, so I'm very happy with the weight I am right now. Side effects, it wasn't too bad. I had probably less side effects than the average person who takes Zepbound. It might have been maybe more or a little more, not severe, might have been a little higher at some points, and sometimes my nausea was mild. It would just come and go randomly during my time. It was just random. There was like no timeline when my nausea would kick in, but that is a common side effect with all these GLPs. But everyone's different. Some people's nausea is super severe, some have no nausea at all, some people have, you know, other issues down there when it comes to like any type of bowel movements. Some people, you know, have extreme constipation, or they have extreme diarrhea, or some other, who knows what other issues there are. I didn't have too much problems when it came to that. It was just random mild nausea that would, you know, come and go. I remember during the first month I was taking it, I didn't realize that you cannot eat very heavily processed, greasy food with these medications. It won't sit well in your stomach. For example, one night I was eating a whole bag of potato chips. Obviously, potato chips have no nutritional value at all. It's straight up processed garbage sealed in a bag. And obviously, you know, they say anything that can last in a sealed bag for a long time is obviously garbage for you, which is true. I remember waking up in the middle of the night having to run to the bathroom to vomit, and that was the only time I ever had to vomit during my whole time. So I realized, you know what, I think it's because I ate something so greasy and processed. So I never touched anything like potato chips ever again, and I'm fine with it. And I realized you cannot eat too heavy or too unhealthy with these medications. Even when I would have my, you know, cheat meals, depending on what your definition of a cheat meal is, and I would eat something heavy and greasy, I would get some nausea after it. Sometimes it wouldn't be till the day after in the morning. It would come at night randomly, but it wasn't severe enough to the point where I had to vomit like that one time. But as for the tirzepatide I took, which is Zepbound, I got prescribed it because my BMI was very high, and I also had very high cholesterol, LDL cholesterol in particular, which is the bad type of cholesterol. And so that's how I was able to get it prescribed, since my LDL cholesterol was so high that it was in the danger zone, and my BMI was very high too. I mean, the fact that I lost over 20% of my body weight means I was heavy and I lost a lot. So you know, it's a lot of emotions when you lose a goal weight that a person's trying to lose, because losing weight in general is not easy for anyone. Even the most athletic, healthy, fit people with the most perfect bodies, perfect metabolism, losing weight in general is not easy, because it's human nature to want to eat, especially eat yummy things and eat carbs and, you know, all these yummy things out there that people in America especially love to eat. And I hear on the news that 1 in 8 adults have now been on a GLP-1, and that airplanes even way less, which is great because it means airfare is likely going to go down. But I believe it because it did work, and these new GLPs, it really does suppress your appetite. You will eventually crave less unhealthy food, sugar, junk, everything, because you will almost grow an aversion to it. but obviously nothing is forever in life too. And you know, there are studies that show once people are off these medications, some people, their appetite comes back, and they sometimes go back to their old ways of eating and eat whether an excessive amount of calories or go back to eating horrible junk food. Everyone's different. Some people don't go back to their old ways. Some people takes a long time till they possibly go back to an old eating pattern they had. But like I said, everyone's different. Some people, they have to stay on these GLP-1s or else they're not, their willpower or mental power, whatever you want to believe, isn't strong enough to be able to eat a healthy amount, healthy food in moderation. So yeah, but anyways, that's for Zepbound, which is produced by Eli Lilly, which I believe also produces Mounjaro, which is the same thing but prescribed for people with type 2 diabetes. These terzepatides have two hormones in their medication. They have the GLP hormone and the GIP hormone. I don't know the exact medical terminology for the GLP and GIP, but those two hormones have that are used in the medicine is probably why it has been shown that Zepbound has been a little bit more successful for people to lose more, who really want to lose weight. Especially obviously the Ozempic and Wegovy is not a terzepatide, it's a semaglutide, because it's just one hormone, which is the GLP hormone. And some people have had really weird and not very good side effects when it comes to Ozempic and Wegovy. Everyone's different. Some people like it better. I met a woman, she was on Zepbound for a while, and then she said her insurance wouldn't cover it anymore, so they gave her the Wegovy in pill form, since Wegovy now comes in a pill you take every day. And she said the side effects are way less severe with Wegovy, and she likes it more, and it costs way less for her, which is great for her. But everyone's different. Everyone has different insurances all work and decide things differently, but to each their own. But it was a woman who I met at my gym, and she came up to me and she was like, you look so good and great. Not only like do you look like you're a healthier weight, but you look happier, you look like you have more energy, your skin is glowing. And I was like, thank you so much. I was so flattered for her to say that, and for someone to notice me in a much better, healthier, happier physical state. But I'm not gonna lie, it was the medication that really made it happen at a much faster pace for me to get down to a healthy weight and whatnot. Obviously the number on a scale is not everything. It doesn't predict what your like health really is on the inside, and all your like, you know, cholesterol levels, sugar levels, all of it. Like I said, the number on a scale is just a number on a scale. We all have different body compositions. Some people have naturally higher subcutaneous fat or visceral fat, which is the fat that surrounds your organs. Some people are naturally more lean and have very little body fat, where they store it differently. Like I said, we're all different. But obviously as a woman, it's obviously very hard to especially lose body fat, because you know, women need body fat especially. So I did lose a good amount of body fat. I probably lost like maybe 10% body fat from my heaviest, considering I lost 20% of my overall body weight. Without stating what my starting weight was at the beginning and what I weigh right now, because like I said, a number on a scale is just a number on a scale. I said that I really did lose a good amount of weight in a pretty short period of time. It took me like about four-ish months till I got down to a finally healthy range. And then I've lost like another 10 pounds just by, you know, watching what I eat and trying to eat high protein, because women especially need to have more protein, because most women do not eat enough protein. You know, they even say you should eat your body weight in grams of protein, which I believe. So I should be eating at least 120 grams of protein every day. but it's hard because I noticed even during my time on Zepbound, I had a weird time with eating, even if it was something very healthy and clean, like egg whites and lean chicken or lean beef. It was weird. I almost got like a nauseated reaction, and it's not uncommon when people take these medications to have weird reactions to eating something totally healthy and clean and good for you. Obviously, animal products are animal products, you know. People have their different opinions. Even if egg whites and, you know, animal meat has health benefits, you know, there's also there's the downside to eating meat and animal products and dairy and whatnot. But I managed to figure out ways how to get protein. Sometimes I could eat egg whites, no issue, and then other days it was weird. I had a weird reaction. I got nauseous and couldn't eat it. And as it goes with meat too, whether turkey, chicken, lean beef, which is pretty much the only meats I eat anyways. So yeah, even before this medication, I would love meat, and I would love all types of greasy meat too. Like, I love In-N-Out, I love burgers in general, and I would eat In-N-Out so much. But you know what, now I don't crave it as much. Like, don't get me wrong, I still love it, and the way it tastes is still amazing and stuff, but I don't feel like I need to eat it as much anymore. So there's that, which is awesome. But yes, anyways, am I going to continue this medication? I don't know. I have weird feelings because ever since I finished it, I wasn't taking it for like 2 weeks, and I noticed I started to eat a little bit more than I was before. And I couldn't just say maybe because it was my time of the month, maybe it was just because I was like, it was like a weekend where I was like, you know, doing stuff and eating out with people and stuff, that too. But I got scared. But like I said, I told myself, I got this, I can do it, I can handle it. I don't need to take any type of weight loss medication. I can have anything and everything under control. And like I said, the power of the mind is also very powerful, and I believe people too can learn how to have discipline and how to train their mind to eat the right things and have a happy, healthier, more positive outlook on life, whether with the help of weight loss medication or without. But yeah, I would say Zepbound was a good experience for me, and I'm glad I took it, because at least I learned that it was effective, so I can help other people who are considering to take it and let them know that it did work for me, and the side effects, at least for me, were not that bad. But like I said, everyone is different. You know, I like to think like what you think is what becomes. If you tell yourself that, you know, I can take a medication and it'll work for me and it'll fix whatever the issue is and I won't have too many issues, I like to hope that is the case, you know. But, you know, like I said, we're all different. Western medicine has its pros and cons, like with anything and everything in life. But yeah, pretty much. So for those who are curious whether you are able to get any of these GLPs prescribed from your insurance, or if you're getting it somewhere else from a different like provider, paying under the table or whatever else there is out there that people are getting a hold of these GLPs, you need to do your research on the differences between semaglutides and tirzepatides, because they, like I said, tirzepatides have 2 different hormones it's targeting. And obviously there's so many different compounded GLPs out there. So yeah, anyways, thank you for watching, guys.